Good morning, good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for joining us on the 20th December, and hello from Istanbul. I've got the pleasure of spending a few days here with our Turkish partners, and we're delighted that Tanja Armbrust is going to be speaking for us today. To introduce Tanja, Senior Manager for Talent and Executive Management at Otto Group, who are a retail with a background in retail, pharma, and telecoms. For those who don't know Otto, they're a global retail and service group. I've employed in excess of 41,000 people in Europe and the US. Started in 1949 in Hamburg with a mix of retail, e-commerce, financial services, and logistic companies. And their last published year, they did over 16 billion euros in revenue. So a pretty successful business, and we're delighted to have Tanja speaking and telling us a little bit about how they've used Harrison to keep their talents in strong engagement and focused performance. Unfortunately, Andrea Danner, who's one of the German partners, who many of you know, who works with the Otto Group, is unwell. So fingers crossed she will be better very, very soon. And when she starts speaking, you'll hear that Tanja has also got a cold. So we're delighted that she's still able to soldier through. Without further ado, Tanja, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nigel, for your introduction and also for the invitation. And yeah, apologies to my voice. Hopefully it will last until finishing the meeting. So hopefully nobody from you is around in Hamburg, because then you can be sure the cold will catch you. So hope everybody else is fine. And when Nigel and Andrea asked me if I would like to give an insight how we use the Harrison assessment, it was a perfect timing in that kind of way, as we just launched one of our new products, which we call engagement analytics. So saying product is, don't worry, I'm not belonging to Harrison Assessment, loving to sell you today something, but the Otto Group, I'm belonging to the holding function, and that means that our HR department has got two perspectives. On the one hand, there are mandatory topics. All the companies belonging to the holding have to cooperate and work with us on the one hand, and on the other hand, we are also service functions, so offering products to our local HR colleagues of the companies. They can buy it. We sell them at cost, so not allowed to make any profit, but so it's completely up to them to buy those, but frankly speaking, they just buy it when they are really worthy and building up a value for them. So I don't want to get you bored by death with a company presentation, but just obligatory glance at the Otto Group. First, maybe that you've got a more concrete idea of the environment I'm working in and where we are selling that product. So Nigel already said, so there are 43,000 colleagues together with me in that group, and we really have the whole retail value chain in our company, in our group, with 30 companies. So from platforms to brand concepts to retailers to services, which means logistical services and financial services. This is all about the Otto Group, and we're pretty proud to say we're one of the world's largest online retailers, so let's say not bad. And yeah, we can say we are all over the place with a lot of companies, and hopefully the one or the other is familiar to you. If not, please feel highly welcome to become our customer. And so, for example, the platform segments, Otto, and this is, as you also can hear from our name, the Otto Group holding. This is where everything starts with the family Otto. But we also got About You, for example, and also brands, concepts like Crate and Barrel, maybe quite well known, or Beaupré or whatever. So I'm just flipping about on those slides just to give you an idea. No worries. Again, no selling meeting. And of course, we also got retailers, several ones. Maybe the one or the other, like the Germans love manufacturing for especially. But also FGH, all those logistic companies we got in our groups, really ensuring all those service levels from storing to delivery and so on. And of course, in the end of the day, also the financial ones, mainly for all the customers who love to pay their invoices, but also for the one who don't. So, as I just said, if you like to be one of those 54 million ones, please feel highly welcome. Our framework, and this is the environment which really guides us, is our Otto Group path. So it's framed by responsible commerce that inspires, and together we push the limits. So this is our strategy. Our ambition is really to not just have an economic success, but also combine it with social and ecological responsibility. Sorry. Of course, exceptional experience for our customer, and also all about the digitalization on the one hand. And the attitude, so we are not listed, we're still a family business, so therefore we've got a code of ethics, so a really high value system on the one hand, which guides us. On the other hand, of course, operational excellence is key. And beside that, what we've got called Kulturwandel, it's an ongoing cultural change, permanent one, always adapting our way of working, collaboration in all perspectives to the requests of the future. And so what we call our path is that, of course, beside growth and innovation, you can see there again, as we are family business and very ethical, it's always also about social and ecological responsibility within our goals. So that's all. Just to give you an idea, that is the Otto Group. That is the lovely environment I'm working in. And what I love now to share with you is exactly the description of our. So these are the same slides I just used because we launched that product in November, and I just sold it to a colleague to the HR department of Otto International. So obviously it's not that bad. Of course, they would love to know what's in there for them if they go with us in that process of engagement analytics. And maybe just as background, also for you, beside our strategy, beside our frame we are acting in, it's also what our board members call hard topics. So additionally, every year there's one topic where they ask us to focus on beside our strategy. And this year, our board member for HR asked us to focus on organizational development. Sorry. And so we said, okay, this should be about the involvement of evidence-based design of our tools and various we have within the organizational development. And as I said, this part of our responsibility is a service. So we always have a project, a pilot, to really figure out if that is a product which makes sense, which is really a value for all the companies within the group. And we run that pilot with 4 companies, and really could say in the end of the day, it's something how we can really support them to identify and analyze retention factors, and therefore make a contribution for unintended loss. So, and of course, they would love to know what's really the exceptional value of that product. Of course, there are several engagement questionnaires going around in all the companies, but what really makes a difference in this one is that the kind of way the results are visualized and how you can reflect with the participants of that process is different, especially in that kind of way that it's not just also about their needs they have, but it's combined with the contribution they can make by their own. And this is really something which makes a difference in that kind of way, not also just for the participants saying what they need, but also getting aware what they can do for it on the one hand, but also for the managers having a more concrete idea on the one hand, but also on the other hand, those needs shown by the report are there. Of course, there are some well-known factors being responsible for retention, but there are several ones you normally don't speak about. And so this results enable both sides to have a really good dialogue about those things. And of course, for HR, it's always a great chance to set up new measures or to redesign things to make sure that unintended loss is not there, or as low as few as possible. Besides, apologies to my terrible English, I'm not that used to that, so forget about grammar, about pronunciation.
Tanja, some of the partners are on the call know that I have a rule. You're not allowed to apologise for your English until my German is as good as your English. When my German's as good as your English, then we can have that. Until then, no.
Okay, so thank you for that. Knowing British people, polite as always, thank you. And being aware Germans being as frank and blunt as always. So
surely not. Germans being direct and to the point. Who'd imagine that?
And of course, as I just said, that this is the presentation I gave to my local HR colleague to get their buy-in. So of course, you need to know what are those 8 essential factors which really leads to commitment and retention of employees. And as I said, of course, payment is quite familiar, but the way the report looks, for example, on development, on communication, on personal and social expectations, it's different to what we had in the past, or what we have in other engagement questionnaires. So This was really something which convinced her on the one hand. On the other hand, this is we use the Harrison assessment in several products. So the engagement analytics is our newest, our last one, but we have several ones. For example, like we've got an executive development process assessing really all our executive support members, group VPs, etc. Or, for example, we've got development programs where we use the Harrison assessment. So just to make clear, because mainly all of our local HR colleagues are familiar with the Harrison, to make clear, there's always one questionnaire we use for every kind of report we generate afterwards. And of course, also they need an idea of what the report will look like. Of course, the report itself is much more detailed, but this is our responsibility as group function to work out the details. And I will show you the process right in a moment. But at the end of the day, mainly it was important or it is important for them to see what this is in general and in an overview all about, and to work out all the details. We have to write a management summary. We provide them a toolkit, so it's up on our function to enable them to talk about the results, but not to analyze them. That's on us. And yeah, the process I just mentioned. So this is exactly the process is running at Otto International with the management board. This is the participant group. So we set up the framework. They informed all the participants as local HR. Fortunately, this process will look different in a German company because here's no works council we have to deal with. But if it would be a German one, it would look like a little bit different. So, and then of course we write the participants. Then there's the survey. Then it's up to us to evaluate the survey. Yeah, as I just said, report, management summary, and toolkit. This is what we are then providing to our local colleagues, and they, of course, communicate then the results and work out measures with the participant group, referring to the results, and of course, thinking of our quality management on the one hand, and maybe further support which is needed by us as a group function. There's feedback given to us about the process at the end of the day. And of course, Q&As, my colleagues have always like, what are the principles? What is the framework? What is included in the survey? Who receives it? And who are my contact persons? I could ask for anything. Yeah, and that's it. So. Ta-da! Oh, no backup. Sorry.
That was fantastic. Thanks, Tanja. It's always wonderful to hear how people are using the information, because as you know, I've worked in this industry a long time, and so a lot of the partners will have heard me say on more than one occasion, it's getting people to do the assessment and producing the reports. It's not the end of the process, it's the start of the process. And it's what you do with that data, what you do with that information. And as you said, around having a focus, obviously, on unintended loss, helping reduce that, those expectations of the employees, and enabling those more proactive and specific interventions. It's really, really wonderful to hear about how you're using the information that hopefully that we designed the tools to be used. So thank you so much for sharing that. So we've got our first question. Felix, who's one of our other German partners, is asking, about the anonymized. Do you actually use the anonymized feature in the Harrison platform, or do you just keep it anonymized with only limited people who can access the data? So I was asking, are you actually using the anonymized function in the system?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this what we learned during our pilot is that the anonymous part is key in that kind of way that, of course, you when people get invited to provide really good information that they have the feeling they can trust into the process on the one hand, and that it's also giving them the message it's up to them if they would love to contribute to engagement. So corresponding to the report, it's not just about what are my needs, but also what are my contributions. And so the idea we had when we said it's anonymous is that you can contribute, but you don't have to. On the one hand, it's an offer, and we also in the pilot we also provided in some companies Q&A sessions to really ensure that everybody feels comfortable with that process. Of course, in the end of the day, if they just have the feeling they have to fill it in and they have to go through that process, that is not the aim. It's the idea is to open up a space for them to talk open, and not just direct as the Germans, but to talk open about really their needs, and that is something which really helped within that process of having that setting.
Yeah, and you've partly answered already that question. One of the ones from Rhiannon is what other barriers did you find to convince the business to do this?
So the business, I would say, is always interested in, is it worthy to spend that money? Is there really something in for us? So that's the main barrier to say so, that really providing information in that kind of way that they can really see the value for that product on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's no secret unintended loss is happening. So it's really a pain point for the companies in the end of the day. And this is our offer how they could handle it. So the war for talents has already started getting tougher. So it's really not just a nice to have topic. It's really relevant to keep your talents.
Yeah, and again, that as an organizational goal, again, this is great to hear. This is how you're using the tool to actually address an organizational goal, which obviously in this case, that talent. So another question from Rhiannon is: do you kind of, it wasn't clear, do you actually use other engagement survey tools as well as the analytics?
Tools in that kind of way. So as Otto Group HR function, we just have the engagement analytics from Harrison Assessment. But of course, each company have its own HR department. Of course, locally, they use several other engagement, but let's put it like that, primarily questionnaires, and they are mainly about health, about work-life balance. So they're I don't want to be unpolite, and that this is really also important. These are also important topics you should ask your employees, but they are more about how they feel and how their environment could be better. And the difference to our product is that we more or less say, okay, what are the needs and what is your contribution to that? And we will figure out together what is needed and what can both sides do to ensure that you are still committed and willing to perform in that company. I think that's the difference to the traditional engagement questionnaires we have within the group.
Great. Oh, blimey, there's another big question from Felix. So for those companies within the group, so Peter in Sweden is interested to know, for those companies in the group who have been doing it for a little while, how's it being in terms of reducing those unintended losses?
So, frankly speaking, again, so what is not reported to us is the local data. So, honestly, I've no data what is really going on in each of the companies. But what we can say is that there was a reason why our board member addressed to us organizational development, and there was a reason why she it's Petra Scharner-Wolf, that's why the board member is a she, why she addressed to us, you have really to provide more evidence based data about those topics. And of course engagement came up. Of course, what we really see is that war of talent that has started, and besides just switching the perspective, beside, for example, that product engagement analytics we just launched, we also just launched a platform within our group for the topic. We call it Your Next Move. So to provide or to support now a global group-wide development and career, we just launched, for example, also that product.
So, So there's a lot going on. Right.
Okay. It's a have to. It's not like, oh, it would be nice to keep our talents. It's really one of our focuses we have.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Look, thank you so much for agreeing. Thank you so much for soldiering on, even though you're not feeling great. Next time I'm in Hamburg, lunch is definitely on me. So thanks again. Thanks everyone for coming, and those who are watching this recording. Next planned session, well, literally had it confirmed yesterday, is I can't say the name of the company, but a very, very well-known tire manufacturer who many of you I'm sure will have heard of, on the 20th of February. So we'll start getting some information about that out in the new year. So thanks for joining us today, and hopefully we will see you all at the next one very soon.
Thank you so much.